So hey guys, in writing news, I have been working on the second part of a three-part planned project. Um, I was working on the third one, but then I kind of decided to jump to number two for a little while, just because I think at the time I was thinking I would be able to finish the chapter before I left for TFF, but that didn't happen. But it's going well. I mean, I'm making steady progress. So I mean, there's that. So that's always good. And I'm hoping to maybe I guess show some of the completed pieces to some people, maybe get some feedback. But I mean, so far I think it's going well. Um, let's see. I guess that is about it as far as the writing stuff. But it's promising things, and I think it's all looking like it's coming together well. So. Um, but I'll elaborate more on that when I have the opportunity. Right now, it's like it kind of seems to work better if I just, wait until I have something finished to be able to talk about it more rather than, talk about what I'm going to do. This way it just kind of, I guess, it's a little easier for me. But, so I mean, it's one of those things that I think will take a while to get started and get going and get to the point where I can show off things on a more regular basis. But at least on the plus side, once I do, if that keeps going, then it will just be a more or less continuous stream. And when it does get started, kind of like the my efforts with the videos, then you'll start seeing more. So bear with me for the time being. And as far as TFF, I went last weekend. There will be, of course, a con video as well as a con report, but I will probably work on those this weekend. Obviously, I didn't work on any videos last weekend because I was in Dallas. I was kind of not necessarily expecting to be able to go because I just finally found a job, which so far goes well, but I'll talk about that more in a minute. And insofar as TFF, we were able to go, but a couple of things that I will mention insofar as the travel part of it. We decided to rent a car this time because my car, while it is doing well, we decided that we didn't want to tax it for a long journey, so we decided we were going to rent a car for the drive to Dallas and back. And we got 2021 Toyota Camry, which was a nice vehicle. It did really well for the drive. The only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that the windows were tinted, which apparently the branch manager seems to like because apparently he borrows that car sometimes. But I don't know. I mean, it was kind of difficult, at least for me, sometimes to see out the back window because it was small and it was tinted. If it wasn't tinted, I think I would have felt a little differently about it. But I mean, that was my only real complaint as far as the car. I mean, it drove great. It was a fantastic ride. And definitely makes me look forward to buying a new vehicle later this year, which of course I will talk about in a bit as well. But as far as the travel, it was very much a smooth drive. We pretty much had our usual route and duration. Of course, it was a different hotel this year, which I didn't realize until about a month before the con. But I'll talk about that, the hotel itself, in the con video. But suffice it to say that the drive was all right. We went up there, we got back okay, and on the way back it was a little hairy because some of the it was raining all the way back, which in itself was not a problem, but there was at least a 10-minute stretch of highway where it was foggy and it was raining just enough to get obscuring, to obscure my vision a little bit. And so for I think about 10 minutes, I was kind of gripping the steering wheel in a white-knuckled nervousness of being able to see only 2 car lengths in front of me. So that was not fun. But, fortunately, it wasn't, we got through it relatively quickly, and that was about the worst of it. But, I was afraid to slow down too much because I didn't know if anybody behind me was going to be going like 80 miles an hour, even in the crazy fog. And I didn't want to go too fast because obviously the same reason. I didn't know what the conditions were, so I just kind of had to cross my fingers, keep my eye on the yellow line to my left, and it worked out all right. But dropped off the rental car, and apparently I also forgot my MP3 player in the rental car. I was pretty sure I'd grabbed it, but I couldn't find it, and now I know why. It was hiding in the rental car all weekend, and because the interior of the rental car was black, I didn't see the black case wherever it was, but they found it at the rental place when they were doing, I guess, a post-rental check. And so they called me, and I had to go back and pick it up the next day after work. But speaking of which, work's been going well. I've been really enjoying my new job. We had, I guess, a group coworker thing, baby shower, I guess, last Friday, so that was nice. And gotten my first paycheck, so I kind of know what I'm looking at on a bi-weekly basis, which is good because it's more than I was making at my previous jobs. Um, but so far it's going pretty well. I have my first project next week, or at least my first major project that I can think of. Um, but I don't anticipate it'll be too difficult. It might be a little time consuming, but that's all right. It's I kind of get the feeling, at least based on the workflow so far, that it's as long as you're on time and more or less kind of working at things, that you can more or less take a pretty laid back approach to the pile of tasks I have. Because I've been working pretty steady on things, keeping myself busy, asking questions as I come up, and now that I don't have TFF to contend with, and I have at least 5 or 6 months of unbroken time, I can start to assume some of my future duties and sort of get a feel for how all this stuff is supposed to work. But I think that once I have the familiarity, that it should be a pretty good job. And for the most part, it's like my last job, it kind of felt like the moment you came in to the moment you left, it was like go, 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 and it was kind of always, I guess, expected of you that you would be fine with that. And that usually isn't how I work. I mean, I'm usually like the first one in the office as far as my immediate cluster of coworkers, so I can kind of like saunter in, when I'm supposed to be there, and then just like take a couple minutes to water my plants, clock in, and kind of get settled before I have to get started, and then just kind of work on whatever it is I have to work on until I decide to go to lunch. Because I mean, it's not like I'm depending on anybody that I have to wait for, or any specific time that I have to be at lunch. Usually I go around 12, but if it's like a little bit before, a little bit after, it's no big deal. So, I mean, it seems like it's definitely kind of like an ideal job for me, if not, but I'm definitely very pleased. I mean, it's kind of better than I would have hoped for, but I'm eternally grateful to the universe that it seems to be like the right job at the right time. And in the long run, my last job letting me go may have been a benefit in disguise. But sometimes you never know with these things. But also sometimes you got to wade through a lot of stuff to get to the good things. So, but insofar as if this job turns out to be as well for me as I think it will, it's going to be more money, less stress, and it's going to work better with my writing efforts. At least insofar as so far the entire time that I've been there, I've been writing steadily, at least a page a day, and it's been going really well. And that's kind of another thing that I've been trying to do, since a little before I started, is that I guess, and setting I guess more reasonable goals for me. I would like to be one of those people that can finish a lot more, but I don't stress about it right now, because as long as I finish at least like a page or so of new material, I usually feel pretty good. And as far as when I'm planning ideas, usually it's kind of running in the background in my brain when I'm doing other things. So sometimes whenever I come up with something, it'll come to me, and then I'll just take a few minutes to write it on my outline, and it goes well. You know, um, but so far the job's going great, and I will talk about that a little bit more once I have some more to report, but it's going well. And I guess the last thing to talk about right now is that I do have plans to get a new vehicle sometime within this next coming year. We've been talking about a timeline of somewhere between 6 and 11 months, although depending on how the finances and the situation work out, I may be leaning towards closer rather than later, just because I really could use a nice little bit of peace of mind of having a car that I can trust, that I can rely on, that I don't really have to think about that much, and so on. My thoughts right now are leaning towards a Hyundai Elantra. I've heard good things about it from a couple of my friends, and it sounds like it's within my price range, and it looks like it has all the bells and whistles that I'm hoping it has. I haven't, my current car is a 2009, so it's pretty old in terms of, it doesn't have a lot of the bells and whistles that, at least in recent cars, have become standard. But I'm definitely looking forward to having a new vehicle, and hopefully it'll last me at least 10 years. Um, but if I'm hoping to have a decent down payment, and then I should have plenty of money to be able to cover the regular payments and all that other stuff. But it'll be worth it, at least because at least once I would like to just buy a brand new car, off the showroom floor, that I have no one's ever owned. That's something I've picked out myself. And I kind of think that now is like a good time to do it, especially with the new job and things working out as well as they have. Also, incidentally, I have to, well, I don't have to, but I strongly think I need to replace my cell phone sometime within the next few weeks, mostly because the button that turns it on and off has fallen into the casing. It was kind of getting loose, but now it's actually fallen inside, so it doesn't actually, I can't work it anymore that I know of. That being said, it's fine for now, but probably maybe not this time around, but maybe at least in the next paycheck, I will look towards taking a trip to the Verizon store after work and getting a new phone. But I guess that's it for now. I will be working on the con videos next weekend, and hopefully I'll get those finished and scheduled, and that should be, I think, most of the releases for April. Maybe I might be. Yeah, I guess it's April at this point. Um, I was kind of thinking I might be able to work on it when I got home from TFF, but of course, when I got home from the con, I was just wiped, and I just decided not to. But I will be working on that this coming weekend, and hopefully, I'll have something for you guys soon as far as that goes. But that's it for now, and I will catch you guys later.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. You can also find me on Twitter and a few other places on the web, or support me via Patreon or Ko-fi. Zebra hugs!